In today's video, I will show to you how to use ATAS Heatmap, my secrets, and also all my tutorials. Step number 1, open ATAS and go to Indicators section. In all indicators, you type DOM levels or Heatmap, and after that you add to a chart. As you can see, I already have it. That's why I will use my own that I have. Here you can see there is a setting. Let me help to you to set up all of the settings. First one, it is a color scheme. What this color scheme mean? It is as brightest color, it means more volume traded. Because remember that this heat map shows to you real actual limit orders and how long they stay on a chart. Even this red color on a chart, it means that there are significant limit order. Example for you, we open DOM levels, and you can see right now, at this very moment, it is 141 contracts lay here. Here, as you can see, 59, we see it as a light blue. As closer to red, it means it is a bigger volume. As you can see, another significant limit order is here, and how many contracts is here? It is 90 contracts. Next setting, it is upper cutoff percent. As you can see this one. And second one, it is a contrast. About contrast, I use it only when I see significant limit orders, because honestly, there are different days. There are days when you will see no big volume, like 50 contracts limit order, 100 contracts limit order. In those cases, you can do some contrast. But there are days when you will have 500 contracts. And because of that, you may not see 100, 200. That's why sometimes when I see significant limit orders, I make these contracts around 0 or 1, 2, 3. But when I don't see big contracts, I use it around 22, 25. Even this example on this day, as you can see, I recorded to you special video, entire session, and you can see how the entire session looks like with a heat map. And here, as you can see, I go to settings, to contrast and upper cutoff. As you can see, when we increase upper cutoff, we have more limit orders that are red. Honestly, I don't like it when it's too much, because sometimes there could be like red 100 contracts and red 500 contracts. No, I don't like it. I like when we see the difference. And regarding contrast, pay attention how contracts looks like. When we go to 0, we see nearly all limit orders that appear in a depth of market. But honestly, we don't need it to make trading decision. We need to see something significant, as it was here on the chart. That's the reason, if some of you would ask me what setting should be with contracts, in that case, my recommendation is really simple. For a start, for beginners, I recommend you to use it at 20. In the future, you can choose, you can try during session to see the difference. After that, smoothing mode, better to use honesty or thematical. Log scale, it means difference between limit orders will be determined in log scale. Yes, advise you. After that, show last limits. It is actual limit orders that we have right now in this very moment in a depth of market. It shows to you show last limits. That's why you can add it, and honestly, I add it. I always use it. By the way, I have a great news to you. If you don't like to download it by yourself and you would like to get a help, you can get all my templates by working with ATAS, because ATAS, it's not only about heat map. You need delta profile, volume profile, other indicators, and you can get all our templates in one place. Go to ATAS Marketplace. We will add link into description. Fill the form and get all my templates. As a bonus, my team will help you to set it up properly. And additionally, we will share with you a free masterclass about how we use it and how we execute the trades. That's why do it right now. Coming back to all settings, there are additional settings that you can use. This one, minimum volume filter. For example, you can set up that you don't like to see any limit orders below 50 contracts. Maximum volume filter, it works the same as for minimum. For example, you don't like to see contracts above 1000 or any other. Honestly, max, I don't use it, because you actually, that's what you need. You need to see the biggest one. Day to save, how many days you would like to see as a data. Honestly, I don't use it because I trade every session. For me, the most important to see current market session. And after that, we apply. Like at this moment, as you can see, we have only these 2 orders where we have orders above 50. As you can see, we have it here, here, and far above. What additionally about heat map you need to learn? to use it properly. Heatmap, honestly, historical data isn't the most accurate one. You must be real. That's why I advise you to start it at least one hour before session. In that case, it will upload all the data before actually a session start, and you will see real orders. That could be, you see volume profile, price moves inside in a value, you have beautiful balanced day, and you see some significant limit order here inside. Honestly, it will work really poorly. For example, during balanced day, you will wait for price reaching higher point or lower point outside of a range, and in those places you will look for such orders, and you will be happy. The same with different market structure. It is with trend market. You see trend market, and in most cases those limit orders against a trend, they won't work. Price simply will go through it and break it many times. It would be very beneficial if you would use it into trend direction. Also, additional few words about color scheme, because we didn't pay so much attention in color scheme. There are only a few differences between colors. It is how visually you see those limit orders. For example, I love to use this one from dark blue to red, which means red, it is the biggest contract. As you can see how it looks like, but you can use this one closer to white, it is the biggest order. Another one, as you can see, this one closer to red, it is biggest limit order. Dark blue, as you can see, within few seconds there would be another one. This one, dark blue. White blue, it means biggest order. From dark blue to white blue, it is the biggest order. But honestly, it's not the most important part. The most important is you need to see where really the biggest orders traded. That's why you can choose whatever you want. Additionally, with those limit orders, I use another indicators. It is the big bubbles and delta. Why I advise you to use it? Because in that case, you will see was that order executed, was it real or it was a fake? And also you will see price reaction. Because of that, I use additional indicator, big bubbles, to see all the execution. And as you can see, this one volume profile and this one delta profile. Because in that case, I see that exactly there was significant sellers that got absorbed, and that would be a move. Additionally, in some cases, I use this indicator. It is clusters, because in a clusters you can see exactly delta and volume profile. For example, like here, you can see 92 contracts, 25 and 140. With bigger chance, here was significant limit order and price broke through it and start a move. I also sometimes analyze it through clusters. Honestly, it's easy to use Heatmap in ATAS. Remember to get level 2 data and use it properly. At this moment, I prepared for you another video that I recorded to ATAS team about delta profile, because I think it is so important to use this indicator together with a delta profile, because together they will give you better picture and better understanding what to do. Have a good day.